evening, please. Turn to the person beside you and say, good morning. My name is such and such. This is Unity. Unity of Boulder. This is a community. You can cross the aisle if you want to. Yes. Before you silence your cell phones, why don't you text a friend and let them know that you're at Unity of Boulder and you're about to enjoy one of the amazing services that takes place here at Unity. So go ahead, take your phone out and do that. Just text somebody. Text somebody you don't even know. Tell them you're here at Unity of Boulder and you're about to enjoy the most amazing service that always takes place here at Unity. And we want to thank you people tuning in on live stream. We sure appreciate you tuning in. And while you're doing that, why don't you let somebody know? Text them and say they can follow us on live stream right now, unityofboulder.com. So that's what we do. Just build it up, get more and more of this beautiful energy going, more and more of us sharing in the Unity truth. I want to thank our Spanish-speaking friends for joining us today, adding their energy and their love to this service as well. Is there anybody here from another Unity church, another Unity center, any place? Okay. Is there anybody here for the first time? Hey, Stan, we got a gift for you. Is there anybody else here for the first time? Raise your hand up high. We have a fabulous gift for you. Don't be shy. It's right over there. Okay. I got 3 idiots down here. Can we have them thrown out? They've been here so long, it's like they're gathering dust. All right. I have to tell you a somewhat true story that the CIA, the FBI, and the New York City Police Department have always been in some kind of competition with each other at who is the best at apprehending criminals. Anyway, it was Bernie Sanders that got disgusted with the argument that was always taking place, and he said to them, I got a thing. I'm going to let a rabbit go into the forest, and each one of you groups can go in and see who can apprehend that rabbit the quickest. So Bernie lets a rabbit go in the forest. The CIA sets up the entire forest to have animal informants. They've got microphones stationed in every tree. They've got motion detectors behind every rock. And after about 2 months, they determine that rabbits don't exist. Then the FBI goes in. They're in there for 2 weeks. And they decide they're just going to burn the forest down and kill everything in it, which is what they do. They kill the rabbit along with it. And they say, yeah, but the rabbit had it coming. The New York City Police Department goes in, and in 2 hours, they come out dragging a bear by the ear. And the bear keeps saying, okay, okay, I'm a rabbit, I'm a rabbit.
Okay, you can sing this with us also. This is a traditional Thanksgiving song that we have done for years. And it's actually been done by the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir, and it's ours too. Okay, here we go. You can stand if you feel like it. You know, it's really good exercise.
For the strength you give live, to simply carry on. Through life's toils, I test the worst and best, never left alone. Always right beside me, to hear me when I pray. And since I first began, you've been my dearest friend. I give you all the praise. We're saying thanks, oh thanks, yeah. Even in the bad times, everything's going wrong. Even on that mountain, His loving presence makes me strong. Each and every moment, and each and every day, I'm gonna sing and shout, gonna let the rocks cry out. I give you all the praise. We're gonna say, yeah. Oh Lord, oh yes, for all you've done. You see, I am so blessed. My soul is at rest. Yeah. I give you thanks. Whoa, we're gonna sing, thank you, Lord. I give you thanks. Yes, I do. All you've done. Oh Lord, I am so blessed. My soul is at rest. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Oh yeah. Oh Lord, you did the work for me. I am so blessed. My soul is at rest. Yeah. Wanna say thank you, Lord.
All right, fantastic.
Good morning. Testing, there we are. Okay, good. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all. Let me take that other hat off. Let's get this new hat on. Okay. Now I'll go to the minister hat. I'm out of breath from singing things. We can use more people in the choir. That way I won't have to sing before I have to speak. So if you can read music, you can still join the choir on Thursdays at 6:30. Men and women, especially some altos. We need some. Now they do. We're too late in the choir season. Now you have to be able to read music. Yes. All right, well, my name is Syntysche Groverland. I am an associate minister here with my brother Shad and my dad Jack. And today my talk is about the power of giving and then giving thanks. We think about Thanksgiving as a time where we are grateful for all the things that we have. And this is also a very charitable time where there's a lot of need in this world for our attention. And because we are so blessed to have all that we have in our life, this is a time to remember what we really are here to do and be. And that is to be a channel and an expression of God through our actions in this world. It's not only at this season that we should be remembering that there are others that are needing more than we need at this time. And we can feel it in the church. This time of year, we're really busy because we're working on all sorts of fundraisers. We're doing the EFAA, the Emergency Family Assistance in Boulder. We're doing the SHARE program. We're doing the Native American Drive, which is starting next week, where we're gathering all sorts of clothes and food and everything for the natives. And so we need muscle power to back that. And I know a lot of us want to bask in this wonderful holiday season, but I'll tell you right now, nothing gives to your heart like giving back. Especially when you think you don't have the time to give back, that's when you're especially called to give back. My daughter's giving me some water and some lip gloss because my mouth is very dry after singing. So we'll dive into this thing here. That's what daughters are for. Here, hold on. I got this. This is good. Alrighty then. In the book, In the Flow of Life, by Eric Butterworth, who is one of our great unity ministers of all time, he says it this way. When the faucet gives water to the cup, it actually creates a need for replenishing flow. In physics, this need would be called a vacuum, because nature abhors a vacuum. The need draws the supply. Paul refers to this when he says, "And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches," in Philippians 4:19. Wanting something is not enough. The desire must lead to giving in some way, which is a giving way to the greater flow. Whenever I have been in a situation, and recently the holidays call a lot more counseling for people. It tends to bring up the shadow stuff, things from childhood, issues around family members or unhealed relationships. And so my schedule is filled a lot more with the counseling when also the workload is tripled or quadrupled running a center at this time of year. And sometimes I'll find myself going, I don't feel like I have anything to give to a counseling session right now. My glass is empty. I am depleted. And whenever I think that, when I really think I don't have something to give, I will have the most profound counseling session with somebody. And I'll observe that everything that I am witnessing for them is what I really need to know from my higher self for me. Because the universe is honorable. And there is no limit to the extension of what we can give out from our inner being. We are limitless. We have forever energy, whether we didn't sleep for 3 days or not. Because when we're working in the spiritual and the ethereal, the soul is the driver's seat. And that is the way we can actually realize when I'm so exhausted and I don't think I can handle something really special is about to happen. Something's about to be transformed. You know, it's like that old saying that it's always darkest before the dawn. We tend to get to this point where you just don't think you can handle it, and you can't handle any more in your life, and all of a sudden, the breakthrough happens. So in the same book, In the Flow by Eric Butterworth, there's a story, and it goes this way. A man was extremely despondent over his life. He had been laid off from an important position with a large corporation. It was a typical case of too young to retire and too old to get work. He was sitting on a park bench, brooding over his situation, which appeared quite hopeless. He became aware of the sound of crying. He ignored it at first, for he had his own problems to cry about. As the sobbing continued, he looked around and discovered it was a young girl. At first annoyed at this disturbance of his gloom session, he was thinking, why won't she stop? Finally, following his human instincts, he went over to the girl and tried to comfort her. In time, he gained her confidence, and she related her story. She was unemployed and alone in the city. She was too proud to return home and admit that she had failed in her career attempt. Her situation had become desperate, and she was actually contemplating suicide. The man, forgetting himself, talked to the girl as if she were his own daughter. He encouraged her, helped her to find a new attitude, and he suggested some contacts that she might make. The girl went off smiling and with new hope shining in her eyes. The man sat incredulously, trying to assess what had happened for now. For some strange reason, his own hope had been restored. In this short exchange with the young girl, his own life had taken on new meaning. He realized that while he had been brooding over his needs, he further frustrated the flow of his good. When he began to think, give, there was a letting go and a giving away. He actually forgot himself in his compassion. For the forlorn person, the frustrated flow was unblocked. His perspective returned, and in the twinkling of an eye, he was in the flow, and life was good again. This is the truth, right? That's what we'll say. Sometimes we'll say, you've got to meditate every day. And when you say you don't have any time to meditate, that's when you extra have to meditate, because that will actually make your life flow so much smoother. You'll be divinely directed. You'll be with the right people at the right time. You'll know who's calling you when they call, and you'll be psychically connected to everything and everyone that has been a disturbance and will also bring peace. But sometimes we think, oh my God, I'm in my own thing, and why does somebody else need me? How could somebody else possibly need me at this time of year? And that's the very point where we have to be asking, what else can I give to the situation? When you're feeling stuck, and you're feeling alone, and you don't know how to move the energy that is no longer serving you. We have a tendency when we feel cut off and don't know where to turn to change a situation that is no longer available to us. We tend to keep knocking at the door that's shut. Because that's the door we know. That's how we function. That's how we got our careers. That's how we got our significant others. Whatever it is, that door is where we've known things come from. But a lot of times doors shut. And some people stay in stagnated energy for a very long time out of fear of learning about the power that lives within them. Because this is all I know. But this is all I know can keep you there for 5, 10, 15 years and repeating the difficult stuff that no longer serves you, when the truth is all it takes is an adjustment to open up to something bigger, something greater, something more wonderful. Something is available to you right now. A big shift is happening, and you don't have to go into a depression and get lost. When we get in fear, we tend to get away from the friends that are going to encourage us positively. We tend to hold on to our purse strings in fear that we're going to lose our last dollar. You know, sometimes we have to step out of our comfort zone and ask people for help. And be vulnerable enough to realize that everybody's been in this position before. So that's why the holidays can be hard, because we might be going through stuff at this time of year, and all we want is magic again. We want to feel excited that something really special is on the horizon. It's just like little kids, you know, and that's what's so wonderful with having kids, because it reminds you to keep looking for the miracles and what is on the horizon. But once our kids grow, we get more set in our ways and stuck in our paths and what we do, and we don't change it up. We eat the same restaurants, go to the same coffee shop, we take the exact same way to work, and our whole thing is just this little mouse pattern. And of course you're having the same experience that it's like Groundhog Day, because you haven't stepped out of your comfort zone and going, wait, I could literally take a left and not take a right on my way to work and watch how something else could meet you there. Or when you don't have anything to give, you stop and you talk to that homeless person on the corner, and maybe just merely seeing them, if you don't have money to give them. Watch how that transports a whole new understanding of how much you have to be thankful for. And you might give them something to be able to say they're thankful for, which is oneness, friendship, community. For instance, this Thursday we have a potluck for those who don't have family on Thanksgiving, or for people that have family and just want to be a part of their spiritual unity community for it. Invite your friends. If you see somebody at the corner, tell them that there's a lunch here at noon and everything is provided for them. You know, this is a time to make sure that nobody's alone on these special days. We're the ones, we're the conduits of that Christ light in this world. In Acts 20:34-36, it says, "You yourselves know that these hands of mine have ministered to my own needs and those of my companions. In everything I did, I showed you that by this kind of hard work, we must help the weak. Remembering the words the Lord Jesus himself said, it is more blessed to give than to receive." When Paul had said this, he knelt down with all of them and prayed. Can you look back on your week this week and contemplate where maybe somebody needed your help and you might not have felt like you had something to give to them? You know, every corner now has a homeless person in the city at this point. And you can't just keep giving every dollar. You know, I understand that. But to at least smile and realize that those are also children of people, brothers and sisters of people, and somehow they've lost their way. And if it's a substance issue or if it's a depression issue, that's not for us to judge about. We're just here to help each other. They're nothing less than us. If we are all made in the image and likeness of God, then we are also here to protect each other. Everybody's had a low point where you couldn't pull out. And some of us were lucky enough to have parents that could help us pull out. But some people don't have that. And to remember, I am the Christ light walking my life on a path to be of service. I want to share this video with you.
There's many kids, nobody want to take them. Because especially the one who gonna die, nobody wants to deal with death, you know? So these kids, if we don't take them, they're gonna stay in the hospital or in facility. There is no bond. There's nobody holding them, nobody talk to them. I always talk with my kids. Doesn't matter if blind or deaf, I always talk to them. Because I believe they are a human being, they have soul, they have feeling. And for the girl I have now, I mean the only communication by touching her and holding her, the only knows that somebody with her. In December 20, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And I have to go to the hospital to operate on me 1 day before my birthday. I was so scared. I am 62 years old. I was so petrified because I have nobody to go with me. I have to face the doctors. I have to go to the operation by myself and they say, where is your family? I have no family. Where is your wife? My wife passed away. Where is your son? My son handicapped. I was so scared. I felt what the kids felt. They are alone by themselves. It makes me do more for these kids because I was in their shoes. I mean, you imagine a little kid born with terminal illness and he's taken away from his mom and dad for maybe drug abuse or neglect. They're traumatized. They're scared. I mean, it take you from everybody that you know to put you somewhere else. Top of that, you are sick and you have terminal illness. I believe each kid has rights to have a family, mom and dad, brothers and sisters. And those kids in the system, they have nobody. It seems to be the world has forgotten about them. Nobody speaks for them. So those kids need somebody to take them to their house, to make them have a family. I have brothers and sisters, somebody who's take care of them, loves them, and tell them, I am here for you. We'll go through this together and give them security. Because really those kids, foster kids, anytime knock at the door, they think somebody's gonna take them away. They are not secure and they need security and need permanent home. For them, they can call home. We are a human being. We should help each other. Doesn't matter what kind of help, financially, spiritually, medically, any help you can help, you should help because we are a human being and we're supposed to help each other. Doesn't matter what color, what religion, what country, no. We see as a human being. Like this, we live in harmony and we'll be united, not divided. I will foster kids as long as I am healthy and provide good care for them. I mean, I consider them as my biological kids. I never think about them as a foster kids. And it really gives me great joy when I see them laughing and see a smile in their face.
ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق والمغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوي القربى واليتامى والمساكين وابن السبيل والسائلين وفي الرقاب وأقام الصلاة وآتى الزكاة والموفون بعهدهم إذا عاهدوا والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس أولئك الذين صدقوا وأولئك هم المتقون.
that video just touches me, because that love that's in him is in us also. And there's no extent and there's no exhaustion that exists where we can't lend a hand to help others. We have a group that meets here on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, and they fill the downstairs, and it's called Imagine. Imagine provides services designed to incorporate people with developmental, cognitive, and physical challenges into the fabric of their communities. Services include educational and therapeutic services, job training and placement, recreation and leisure activities, opportunities for community living, behavioral health services, technology solutions, and support for families. This nonprofit was created by parents with disabled children that wanted to integrate them into society so that they didn't have to feel like we had to hide away things that on the outside didn't look perfect. Because that's what our society did for a very long time. They just get put in homes so nobody has to feel the uncomfortableness of having people with major problems physically. And it's a powerful thing to witness this group come in on Wednesdays. The joy in these people's faces when they get here. They're here to do games, they're here to draw, they're here to make music. But the thing that blows my mind the most when they show up are the caretakers that take care of this group of people. I mean, you literally see God in them. The endless going to get each wheelchair out of that van, just to get them unloaded, takes like an hour and a half just to get them to the room downstairs where all their fun is going to take place. And they never look upset about it. And most of them, when you ask them, why have you been called to do this kind of service for others? Because I can tell you right now, they're not getting paid some handsome amount of money. You'd have to have a heart call. So many of them have been raised with disabled brothers and sisters. And know the feeling of having parents feeling so abandoned and alone and caring for these people that they become the caretakers in this world. But we don't have to have a hardship like having a disabled brother or sister or child for us to understand there's so many places that need our attention. When I told you when you're thinking your life has stagnated and it's stopped and you keep knocking on this door, you're like, come on, open the door that I want to open, please, because this is the only one I know. If you don't know which direction to go, the direction to service will open up the door that has been closed. But it's one that's new, and it's one that's available to you, but you get out of yourself when you are in service of others. You can't think about your own problems when you're in service of others. It's a magical, magical thing, and when you meet the people, like the people that run our departments, like Margie McCurtain and Michelle and Rob Cross, and I've got so many people that are running things, Kaya and Tracy and all the people that are leading the youth departments, you'll find that they have multiple roles here. Gail, Sandy, they have multiple roles because they understand what it feels like to be of service. It fills their glass so much that they can't live without it because they've gotten the bug. They see how much their life became blessed. It's like the faucet that turns on. You're giving to the depository of God energy that understands it so that therefore you're 10 times blessed and brought back into your wholeness. Financial wealth, happiness, health, beauty, happiness, joy. Because the universe is honorable and it meets us in that service. As he passed by, he saw a man blind from his birth, and his disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, it was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be made manifest in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night comes when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. And remember, we're not talking about Christ here. As long as I am, we are the I am. We are the light of the world. As he said, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle and anointed the eyes with the clay, saying to him, "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. When you metaphysically interpret the story, this is the meaning of it. When man or people, just replace it people or women, when man fails to apprehend his mission and to do the work of bringing forth the good that is allotted to him, he remains in darkness. His blindness is that sin of omission which is present in every man who does not realize his place in the Godhead. If a man fails to do that which he is told from within is the right thing to do, he is sinning, and his soul will remain in darkness to just the degree that he sins. And the word sin in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary means missing the mark. It's not some distant day that we're going to get, blazed down by some angry God. We're holding ourselves hostage in this blindness to the Godhead that is divinely directing and guiding everything in our lives. And when we live honorably, and when we show up, when we hear the call, and we're like, "Oh, I don't have the time." No, I do have the time. I'm going to make the time. You talk yourself out of being weak and lame. You talk about the majesty of who you are and what you're brought here to do and be, and watch how your life becomes a miracle. Every single day you're looking for the miracles because you are being the miracle that Spirit asks us to be. And so when you are sinning by omission, you're missing the mark by choice. And today, you can stop missing the mark. It's as easy as that. You might have come in today and said, "I wonder what the sermon's going to be about." And if it's striking a chord in you, this is a great moment to make a commitment with yourself. Because when we make commitments, we make changes. We become awake. We don't want to sleep anymore through our life. So many people sleep through their life and keep reciprocating the problems of the world, the bad relationships, the things that are not going, they have a boss, it doesn't work out, and then they get a new boss, seems to be the same problem again, same problem, because we're recreating in this blindness, in this missing a mark, that you're being called to be better. You're being called by the universe, and the second that you listen to that call, you will watch a flow of energy that's at your back, and it's going to blaze you into this unknown place that you've been seeking everywhere but the right places, which is the ethereal realm that is waiting for your attention. Meditate. Sit with your relationship with God first before everything else. And discover that you can bring peace to this marriage that's not working. You can bring light and love to your relationship with your children that are not talking to you right now. You can turn around everything that's feeling off in your life. Because in every difficult situation, you are responsible in it too. There's nobody out there just pointing outside. "Well, my parents are alcoholics, so that's why I don't talk to them at Thanksgiving. Oh, well, this happened in my childhood, so this person's not in my life anymore." And yet you walk around and you're wondering, why can't I just breathe in my life? Because I can't forgive. I can't forgive because I only see what's wrong in them, but I don't want to look at what's wrong in me. I don't want to heal the things that are limited in me. I just want to point at everybody else as wrong so I don't have to grow. And then we feel pinched off and disconnected from the very thing that we want connection with, which is life, which is compassion, which is empathy, which is seeing in the eyes of your brothers and sisters and remembering how I've made mistakes. So why am I judging them so harshly that they've made mistakes? At their core, that's my mom and dad. At the core, that's my brother. At the core, that's my sister. Giving them a second chance and a third chance, because that's what compassionate people do. You don't live in hatred. You have to forgive people, whether you're sure they're wrong. Somewhere in that relationship, you are a part of it as well. In How to Let God Help You by Myrtle Fillmore, who is the co-founder of the Unity Movement with Charles, her husband, she writes this: "It is up to you to accept your God-given perfection for yourself. Put aside the past mistakes and the untrue suggestions and fix your undivided attention upon the creator of your inner pattern of perfection. This is the secret of success in all spiritual treatments. You must bring all of your mental attitudes, the centers of your consciousness, and even your physical structures to this high place in divine mind where you see as God sees. In this spiritual viewpoint, you are able to name all that is within you according to the patterns of spirit. Thus, you are able to use these soul qualities to outpicture rightly the true creative possibilities. In this spiritual viewpoint, you are able to name all that is within you according to the patterns of spirit." What are some of those things that you can name within you according to spirit? Call them out. Let's do the words, man. Let's just say it out to the universe. What is in you that's innately amazing? And you know it's amazing. Love. Empathy. Opportunity. Acceptance. Appreciation. Patience is good. Joy. Perception. Compassion. Tolerance. Forgiveness. Willingness. Curiosity. Courageous. Imagination. What was that one again? Faith-filled. And those in live stream, call it out. The universe can hear it. In the flow. In fact, that was the name of the book I've been using today. If you could just collect all that beauty that's within you, you can pick through those cards. Which one is this one calling more of? Oh, I need to have more compassion here. Oh, I need to be more patient. I need to wait to react. I have to learn how to sleep on something without wanting to react to something so quickly, and then we regret it because we know it, and we know we didn't do it right, because when we didn't do it right, we don't feel good. We feel guilty, and we play it over and over, and we ask our friends, it was right, though. It was right, right? It was right. It was right. But we know it wasn't right because we feel like your guts are ripping apart because you hurt somebody with your words. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out when you're walking through this life as an honorable being. And when you are attacking people and when you're demanding things your way, you haven't quite made it there yet. You haven't quite accessed that toolbox of all these wonderful qualities that are within you. You don't have to keep defending yourself to the world. You don't have to keep fighting to ask people to accept you for who you are. When it comes down to it, the kind people in this world have learned to love themselves. They've learned to accept themselves regardless of what they look like, regardless of what their weight is, regardless if they like their feet or they like their eyes. The people that have come to understand that what God sees in you, they love that about themselves. Walk through this life with humility and beauty. And they look for where they're being called to serve because they're a full vessel. They're fully realized. They're fully alive. I put this slide up probably every other sermon because I love it. Do you or do you not want to know what is beyond you? That's the only question you have to ask. Do you or do you not want to know what is beyond you? That's Michael Singer, such an incredible author. I would recommend his books, Untethered Soul. There's another one that I love even better than that one. Oh, the Surrender Project, right? So to be researching the unseen realms, to be researching the ethereal realms that are divinely always trying to get your attention, and the only reason why you're not feeling divinely guided by it because you are cutting yourself off from it. That's why when I say when you go out and you do serve, you're getting out of your own way. Your ego is getting out of the way. All of your work, all of your stuck energy, all of it is getting out of the way because you're too busy taking care of somebody. And boy, do the unseen realms want to help you then. You will be taken up, you will be flying, and you will be working the same miracles as Christ did. So I wanted to close with this last video. I know both my videos are a little bit grim, but I just think sometimes the contrast of seeing something as sad as terminally ill children needing to be held and loved wakes something up in us to realize what we could do to help. You know, that sometimes, like when your kids are depressed or things like that, the Waldorf school, for instance, they will say when the kid's complaining about this and that, and they'll say, but look at that little boy. He's never been able to run because he has to sit in a wheelchair. So you don't have as much to complain about as he does. Sometimes the contrast of seeing pain for others makes you witness how very blessed you are. And we'll play this video.
It was September 30th, 2008, when the doctor came in and he just said that my mom had a cardiac arrest. They told me that I had to make a decision. They said we can do A, we could try to revive her, but we'll probably break every bone in her body and she's feeling all the pain. Or B, we'll just let life take its course and we'll let her pass in peace. So frantically, I had a minute to decide what I had to decide, either life or this. And, I was told not to let the decision that I was going to make at that moment haunt me for the rest of my life. So I made the decision to let her go. I remember I just laid at her side and I was just weeping like crazy. I told her everything I was grateful for. I told her, thank you so much for how you raised me. And the sad thing about it is that was the only time I did it. I never did it before. I never told my mom how much I loved her. I never told her anything until that moment. After that, I remember I kissed her and I said goodbye. I went inside the waiting room. I heard all these noises again, but no pitter patter of the feet, no nothing, And I remember I looked it up at him. I was like, is it over? And he said, yeah, it's over. To this day, she's always in the back of my mind every time I do my schoolwork. Everything I do, because she just taught me how to love, how to be kind, how to be real, how to be genuine towards people, live every second as if you're your last, and always help the poor, live simply so other people can simply live.
So what I would say before I close is think of the people that you haven't said thank you or recognized recently that you do truly love and do care about, and you might feel estranged, and it might have been a lot of time since you've talked to this person. But nobody's ever going to judge you for trying over and over and over and over to tell somebody that you love them. You can heal everything if you just keep trying. Don't believe what the world says. There's no amount of love you can show someone that is a part of your world. And just simply saying thank you. Even for the hard stuff, the good stuff, and the in-between. I'm grateful that I've had this time to share on this planet with you, and I want you to know this before you die. Thank you.
Doc, we are going to take an offering for unity now. I am Rev.Syntysche. I lead the Saturday evening service. In case you're wondering who this random character is that just stepped out on the stage. Half of you were wondering that, so we cleared that up. All right. We'd like to remind you that here at Unity, we're not talking about giving away of something when we take an offering. We're talking about investing in what we want to see in the world. If you want to see more love, you want to see more spirituality, you want to see more of this, then we have to invest in that with our time and our energy. We have to give of ourselves and our finances to make that happen. So that's why we take this part of the service to do that, to spread this flow that's coming through us out into the world. So I invite you to take your offering into your hands. If it's a digital offering, we do have many ways of digitally giving. We can have that up on the screen. You can give by text. You can give through the Easy Tithe app, and there's ways to do that through the websites. If you're watching us online, we invite you to join us in this process by giving digitally and holding that digital offering in your consciousness, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual. Hold this offering as we say this offering statement, and invite you to join me in saying, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive because I give. Thank you. I'm being attacked by children all of a sudden.
Thank